The cafeteria buzzed with the usual chaos trays clanging, boots scuffing against polished floors, chatter ricocheting off steel walls. But the moment she stepped in, the room seemed to inhale. Dark sunglasses hid eyes that scanned every corner, reading every whisper, every half-smirk from the SEALs huddled in the corner. Her crisp navy uniform hugged her frame, but the faint scuff of her boots and the tactical earpiece tucked under her hair whispered stories of storm-lashed seas, long nights in the field, and missions nobody talks about. Heads turned. The hum of conversation shifted into a cautious murmur. A cocky SEAL leaned back, tray in hand, smirk tugging at his lips. "Hey, what's your rank, rookie?" She didn't flinch. One slow, deliberate breath, a smile like a razor edge, and the words slipped past her lips with lethal calm, an answer that slammed into the room harder than any gunshot. Silence. Eyes widened. A ripple of awe spread, tension thick enough to taste, as every man, every officer, every trained eye realized this woman wasn't just another face in uniform. She was a walking dossier of every mission they'd been too scared to attempt, a secret weapon that had just casually walked into their cafeteria. The SEAL leaned back, casual arrogance painted across his face, thinking he'd rattled the new girl. "So, what's your rank, rookie?" he asked, voice dripping with mockery. She didn't flinch, just let a faint smirk curl at the edge of her lips. One hand brushed her tray like a natural extension, the other tapping the side of her earpiece, a subtle signal unseen by anyone else. In one fluid motion, she mentioned a remote mission town in the Pacific, casually referencing intel only SEAL operators would know. Heads turned, whispers rose, subtle shock flashing in eyes that thought they knew everything. Her uniform, crisp and pristine, hinted at authority, but it was the invisible weight she carried that made the room pause. Every SEAL's posture shifted. A low hum of tension threaded through the cafeteria. The smirk on the questioning SEAL faded into a mask of confusion. Nobody moved, nobody breathed too loudly. She was both present and untouchable, a ghost woven into the mundane rhythm of the cafeteria. Every step she took toward the serving line was calculated, silent, commanding. The room felt smaller, the air heavier, as if her presence carried a field of gravity. She wasn't just answering a question. She was rewriting the rules of respect, quietly reminding everyone that appearances are a dangerous trap, and underestimation is fatal. Her mind flickered to another place, another time, the storm-lashed cliffs of Coronado, California, where instructors spat insults and slammed bodies against concrete to weed out weakness. She remembered the laughter at her struggle to scale the wall, the disbelief when she struggled through underwater drills, lungs burning, vision blurred. Each failed attempt had been a test she refused to lose. Flashbacks collided with present reality. Night dives in choppy waters, equipment dragging, mission simulators rigged to break you mentally and physically. She saw herself crawling through mud, stripped of dignity, but never of determination. Every scar, bruise, and badge was a silent defiance against every voice that doubted her. The training ground was merciless, every drill designed to crush, every instructor a storm of criticism. But she emerged sharper, faster, smarter. That fire now burned behind her calm demeanor in the cafeteria. What these SEALs saw as casual confidence was actually a lifetime of proving herself against the impossible. That silent history hung in the air around her, a weight nobody could measure, a promise that she was far more than a uniform, far more than a rank, far more than any man in that room could have imagined. And now, walking among them, she carried every memory like a blade hidden under silk. A tray clattered to the floor, spilled coffee and scrambled eggs flying like shrapnel, and a rookie reached to help. Panicked, in a heartbeat, she reacted, a controlled storm in motion. Her hand darted, intercepting the tray before it struck someone, spinning the would-be collision into a dance of precision. Movements were surgical, deliberate. each microstep calculated to minimize chaos while asserting control. The SEALs froze, eyes widening as they watched someone in a cafeteria move with battlefield instinct. She didn't shout, didn't flinch. She neutralized risk in silence, body flowing like water, boots gripping the floor with subtle authority. No one realized she'd assessed the threat, predicted trajectories, and executed evasive countermeasures in under a second. It was instinct honed in years of high-risk missions, where hesitation equals death. The room exhaled slowly, tension peeling away only to form a new layer of disbelief. They weren't dealing with a civilian, not a rookie. This was a seasoned operator camouflaged in ordinary moments, turning mundane chaos into a silent demonstration of lethal competence. She continued her path, tray in hand, expression unreadable, leaving a trail of stunned onlookers who had just glimpsed the precision of a Navy SEAL in its purest, quietest form. Her presence was now a subtle threat and a promise of control, leaving the cafeteria forever changed. Suddenly, the base alarm cut through the soft hum of lunch chatter, a low, insistent drum signaling a breach. Instantly, every operator snapped to attention, but her reactions were faster, sharper. A flashing cum indicator lit her earpiece. A rogue contractor had breached perimeter security with classified intel. She moved without hesitation, her body sliding through tables, under chairs, silent as a shadow. Every SEAL who thought they understood tactical response trailed her, trying to match her speed. Her mind calculated angles, choke points, and exit routes as if reading a mission blueprint etched into the walls. Security doors swiveled open automatically, badges scanned, cameras tracked, yet she barely paused. Within moments, she positioned herself at the corridor where the threat would appear. Every muscle coiled, senses peaked. Time slowed for the rookies, who realized this wasn't a drill, wasn't a test. It was raw, real-life execution. She communicated silently through hand signals and micro-adjustments, directing the closest SEAL to intercept another angle while she prepared to engage. Her precision, speed, and calm were unnerving. Each step carried authority earned in the field, not in the cafeteria. The rogue operator didn't stand a chance. The SEALs were simply spectators to a master at work, and the tension escalated to a palpable, almost cinematic crescendo. The corridors of the base narrowed, fluorescent lights flickering as she traced the rogue contractor's path. Every movement mirrored specialized SEAL tactics, shadowing, silent entry, calculated positioning. She leveraged Navy standard hand signals, subtly repositioning teammates without verbal commands, her voice unnecessary. Each doorway, each stairwell, each surveillance camera was accounted for. She neutralized a locked door using quick lockpick skills, bypassing electronic barriers with practiced hands. A glint of threat reflected in her eyes as the rogue operator came into view, unaware she'd anticipated his every step. Her Navy SEAL training covert ops, intelligence gathering, urban engagement transformed an ordinary hallway into a stage of tension and lethal anticipation. The SEALs trailing her, even those twice her size, struggled to keep pace, unable to match her instinctual spatial awareness and split-second judgment. The rogue moved, sensing her presence too late. A silent maneuver, and he was contained without chaos. The cafeteria's earlier whispers paled in comparison. The room had no idea of the storm contained in one woman, executing branch-specific, ultra-lethal precision while making it look almost effortless. Mission complete. She returned to the cafeteria as if nothing had happened. The SEAL who questioned her rank stared, slack-jawed, reading the insignia, medals, and subtle cues he had missed before. She sat, boot tapping lightly against the floor, coffee steaming in hand, casual and lethal all at once. The room exhaled, collective tension replaced by awe and quiet respect. They now understood. The woman who had silenced the room, who had handled chaos and executed a live ops mission with precision, was more than a rank. They were witnessing history in motion. Every eye lingered, some with disbelief, some with admiration, all realizing underestimation is fatal. Her calm smile was both a thank you and a warning. This was a master of her craft, underestimated only by those unwilling to see skill over appearance. The subtle power of presence, experience, and quiet authority left an indelible mark. The cafeteria was never mundane again, and neither were the memories of her passing through. She slid into her seat, like she had never left the cafeteria at all. But the air around her had shifted, charged, taut, heavy with the weight of unspoken awe. The seal who had mocked her before was frozen, jaw tight, eyes wide, tracing the medals and insignia he'd failed to notice. Around her, men who prided themselves on fearlessness sat quietly, trays untouched, digesting not just lunch, but the reality that she had executed a live ops mission with flawless precision while they were still fumbling with panic protocols. Her boot tapped lightly against the floor, a subtle heartbeat of dominance. She lifted her coffee, lips brushing the rim, eyes scanning, calculating every glance a reminder that she saw more, knew more, and could act faster than anyone around her. Whispers started, low at first, then building into astonished murmurs. Did she? Just. Every detail mattered. The calm in her voice, the faint sheen of sweat from the chase, the perfect posture that betrayed no fatigue. She leaned back, letting the tension settle, but the lesson was etched forever. Underestimation was fatal. Respect wasn't given, it was earned, silently, in motion, in presence, in lethal subtlety. As she sipped, the seal who had challenged her rank swallowed hard, realizing she wasn't just a story or a cautionary tale. She was the embodiment of skill, authority, and quiet terror, a force that had walked through their world and left it forever changed.